Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where apparently our game doesn't know how much Delta V we have. It's freaking out a little bit. It's fluctuating between 2,600 and 2,800 meters per second. Okay, that's exciting. We're going to warp on forward. We hit a bit of an awkward warp, and our encounter jumped from basically here to here, but it's fine. We've got plenty of DV. We'll just roll with it. So that sounds absolutely wonderful for right now. Let's bring this thing right on in and get our braking burn going. We are already in attitude for it. Where is Duna? Duna should be visible very, very soon. It'll be kind of small, though, won't it? I think it's going to be, like, below us. Ah. Out over here. Never mind. That is not below us. Okay, so in we come to Duna. There we go. And we're entering the SOI right now. And our burn timing is approximately right now. Perfect. So we've got about 50 seconds here. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. So this is going to be about a 2-minute burn. It's going to burn through most of our strap-on fuel tanks here, but that's fine. Not a big deal. Now, we could manually actuate these so that we have, like, we drop half of these tanks and it would be slightly more efficient, but that would be work, and, you know, we don't like doing that here, so we're not going to do that. That sounds absolutely great. We are busily slowing down here, and we'll be entering orbit of Duna eventually. Yeah, it's going to be like a 2-minute burn, so I'm going to physics warp through this. And we're approximately halfway through this burn now. As we can see, our time to Duna escape is getting further away, which is absolutely expected as we slow down. And we're going to have to dive in towards the planetary surface. Now remember, we're inverting our directionality here because we're coming in retrograde from this angle. So we have to go in, flip it, and bring it back out. So I'm just going to do this last little bit a little slower. It's flipping now. There we go. And we'll park right about there. That should be good enough. Ooh, not quite. Move it to prograde. This is technically just within the atmosphere. Now, we're not going to have much drag from this. This is not going to be a problem, per se. And in fact, having some drag would lower our apoapsis. This is the worst thing in the world. But I'm going to bring it up just a smidge. 52 kilometers will do the trick. So at this point, what we need to do is we need to circularize this up. So we just need to burn retrograde at the periapsis here, if I can select this. There we go. And something like this will do absolutely fine. 363.6 meters per second. Okay, you know how I said I don't want to do work? I'm going to do work. So what we're going to do is we're going to pin this guy open, and we're going to flow this in like this. Or no, flow this out like this. And then we're just going to move all of this fuel right on over. This isn't doing what I wanted it to do. Can we go? There we go. That's what I want to see. Fantastic. So we're just doing this for now. We're moving all of this fuel into this header tank for the moment. And I don't think we're not going to be able to fit it all into this header tank. That's that's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter. So that'll be okay. We'll close that guy, and we'll now flow this fuel in here. No, this is the wrong way. This way. There we go. So that looks good, and then we'll flow this in. And now we can jettison this tank. Off it goes. Then we can do the same thing with this tank, but that's going to have to go to here. So we'll flow this out. And then we'll flow this out, which will, of course, fully fill up this hemispherical liquid fuel tank, which we expect. And this should result in completely even fuel amounts, but slightly higher amounts of DV because we're not carrying the dead weight of the fuel tanks. Technically, if we had done this earlier, it would have been better. But it's okay. So we'll pin that guy open and then flow this out. There we go. And then the same thing down over here. Okay, so this set of tanks is now completely empty, and we'll decouple this. It's definitely got a little bit of a kick to it as it hits that food hex can, but it's absolutely fine. So now we've got 451 meters per second in these tanks, which is more than what we had before. It's also more than we need, so there is that. We've got a lot of DV left here, and that's absolutely fine. So we're currently in orientation for what we need here. Let's just warp this right on around. And yes, we are moving prograde, so that's very, very good. So we'll just warp this in. We need to build up a bunch of speed as we fall down. We had basically no speed up here, and that's fine. Now, we could have... We could have not dropped our periapsis as much, had our periapsis be a minimal orbit, and done our inclination change. If I had concerns about the amount of fuel we have, I would have done that. I don't have concerns about the amount of fuel, so we're doing it this way. This is less efficient, but we've got plenty of fuel. That's not a problem. Okay, so we're going to start this burn up in about 45 seconds. 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, there we go. So now, of course, we're burning off this fuel here. And we're not going to get it all burnt. Not quite. But we'll be pretty close. The inclination change will probably clean up the rest of it, if I had to guess. We'll need to do some inclination change. I'm not sure how much, but there will need to be some, for sure. So I'm cutting our throttle here a little bit as we chase this node. We've got about 10 meters per second left here, but we only turn so fast, right? So let's get this last about 3 meters per second done here. This is very, very close. And I'm noticing that this is not the orbit I was expecting. Not even close. Huh. That is not even close to the orbit I was expecting. Interesting. Well, we need to come around to the apoapsis and push this back up to be not quite that high. Somewhere around here. I'm wondering if those kicks from getting rid of those fuel tanks substantially changed our orbit. I'm guessing that's what happened there. Okay, let's make our way around to this node. This is a very minor correction, and that'll be fine. We'll just get this fixed. So we've got about 11 minutes. Let's warp on forward. Excellent. Again, I'm not concerned about the fuel, but I am a little bit concerned about the kick from ejecting this particular fuel tank. We'll see what happens with that. So we've got 50 seconds here. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, overshot that a little bit, but I'm okay with it. This resulting orbit is fine. So we'll put this in kill rot, and we are going to come on down to the periapsis here, at which point we're going to recircularize. That's another 17-ish meters per second there, like 18 meters per second. Okay, seems fine. Let's orient to that, and let's warp on around. So around we go, and at the periapsis, we'll do our correction. And then we can do our inclination change. As I see, we've still got about 80 meters per second left in this tank. That's about 5 seconds of burn time. Interesting. Okay. Absolutely fine, though. Okay, so we're oriented here, and 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. So we're in a pretty good orientation here. I just want to keep chasing this node a little bit. And our resulting orbit is pretty good. I'm going to call this good enough. So we'll kill our rotation, and now we can do that inclination change. So what is our Oh, we're at the ascending node right now. I'm going to do this burn at the descending node. We're passing the ascending node at this moment, and that's not ideal. So just pin that open. 2.4 degrees means that this is absolutely something that we want to address. Okay. We want to be right on an equatorial orbit here because that is where our base is. Cool. So that looks good. We'll align to that node. That's going to be 37.4 meters per second. So we're actually still going to have fuel, remarkably, in these strap-on tanks. I don't think we would have if I hadn't have moved the fuel and jettisoned. We'd be carrying that dead weight all of this time, and I think that we would be definitely lower on fuel than what we are right now. I don't know by how much, but it would be maybe like 50 meters per second, something like that. It wouldn't be huge, but it would be somewhere around there. Okay, we've got about another 50 seconds here. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. I think we're over gimbaled on this engine. I think that's what's causing us to have to chase this node like this, because we have a pretty big gimbal kick right at the very beginning of this. But it's fine. This is the last, like, fine-tuning burn that we need to do here. So I'm not very concerned about it. This is good enough, and let's put ourselves in kill rot. Check in here. Yeah, 0.0 looks solid. We are not going to be going in for our landing at this particular juncture because the Duna base is on the dark side. So let's just warp on around here. Okay. This, however, we can go for. So sometime around here or so, we want to bring ourselves down. It's going to need to be later than this. Sometime around here. Let's warp forward a few minutes and see where that's going to end up. Something kind of like that, but I think we're overshooting at this moment. Let's warp forward a little bit closer here, but we do need to get oriented for this burn, so I'm just letting that happen before we actually warp forward this last couple of minutes here. And I'm thinking we may want to pull this back to about here or so. So this is going to be the majority of the fuel that we have left, but by no means is this going to be all of it. So let's go ahead and warp forward. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Okay. So let's go ahead and furl our antenna and our solar panels. We've got about a minute until this burn occurs, so that seems absolutely fine. Let's get those retracted, and we've only got a couple of seconds in this. Now, we're going to have to keep an eye on our orbit when we jettison these. That's going to be interesting for sure. Let's warp forward 40 seconds, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. Jettisoning those tanks, no major issue there that I noted. So that looks good. I'm going to set the Duna base as our target, and we can see it's right about there right now. So we definitely need to be slowing down here. No doubt about that. And that is, of course, exactly what we're looking to do. Okay, we're now moving barely orbitally. Okay, I'm going to call that good enough. We're going to put this in kill rot. We're going to put this at surface velocity minus. Or actually, horizontal velocity minus. We've still got some amount of horizontal velocity here. And I'm going to shave some of that off. We're just working on dialing this in a little bit here. Okay, something kind of like that. It's not exact. We don't necessarily want to be, like, super duper close to this, right? Because we know that there's a potential problem with the base exploding because we don't have unbreakable joints and no crash damage on, and we don't want them on at this point. We want to have crash damage when this thing comes down. I do want to change our orientation here, and that's going to be something like this. There we go. Moving us into target mode here. I'm just bringing this in a little closer at this point. We're still at horizontal velocity plus, and that's fine. We can see our horizontal speed is about 30 meters per second, and actually, I'm going to bring that down to basically 0 at this point. So that's 20, 15, 10, 5. And we're still moving slightly this way. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to take us to surface velocity minus. The question is, do we want to jettison our engine at this time? That's an interesting question. We do have a little bit of horizontal speed, which is good. We want that. And we can see we're about 34 kilometers, 33 kilometers away from this base. We're traveling very slowly. Why is this parachute in a separate stage? Okay, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. This does, though. This should be here, and then we can put that parachute there. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to activate all of our chutes right now. There we go. And the chutes are now active, but they're not going to turn on for quite a while. We're now about 24 kilometers away from the base. I'm going to take us over to relative velocity minus. We are speeding up, and that's noted. We're not coming down in an aerodynamic, well, we are coming down in an aerodynamic trajectory. We're not coming down in a way that maximizes drag, and that's understood. I'm going to burn a little bit here because I want to slow us down some. And I want to hold attitude here, just in case. So we can see we're coming down pretty far away out over here, and now I'm going to jettison the engines. Looks like I think we're going to be far enough away. I think. Okay, so just hold ourselves at horizontal velocity minus for right now. We're trying to turn this thing around, which is convenient. We're going to be loading this in. It just loaded in. Hopefully it's not exploding as we speak. I can see it here. Okay. We're landing quite close. So that's noted. Drogues are deploying now. And our mains are deploying shortly as well. They're actually deployed right now. So we're 1.3 kilometers away. I mean, that's not very far. That's for sure. But let's just get ourselves down into position here. Wait. We were supposed to be landing on these landing legs. Ah, extend. I told you to extend. I should have used the hotkey for this. Okay. Ah, I told this one to extend. It didn't extend. Spicy. Okay, that was spicy, but we're fine. What exploded? It was just this landing leg. That landing leg is expendable. We're okay. That was definitely spicy, though. Okay, so now we need to drive on over. And this seems fine for the moment. So let's just get ourselves in position here. I'm turning Smart ASS off at this point, and we can go to these reaction wheels that are up over here, and we can just completely turn them off. We don't actually need them anymore. So those reaction wheels are gone, and now we're just heading on over. At this point, I'm going to turn on unbreakable joints and no crash damage. As we get closer to this, it will, like, ramp up how much physics there are, And we don't want it to explode. We'll check to see if there's any damage when we get there. I'm hopeful that there isn't. But for future staffing missions, this would be the basic structure that we'd have. We'd bring 5 Kerbals at a time, and they would just come in like this. It's absolutely fine. Now, I don't have our solar panels extended right now, and that's because I'm not actually using the engines. We're just rolling downhill. This is fine. I think we've got enough momentum to get there. So that seems absolutely wonderful. I do want to turn uphill ever so slightly here. About like that. And that is causing us, I think we slowed down a little bit, but we might be about to start speeding up again. We need to figure out how quickly we can brake, of course, but I just want to park us right where we normally park, over on the other side of this thing. So that'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, we're definitely accelerating a little bit here. We're up to 10 meters per second. So we don't want to crank... Ooh, that was exciting. We don't want to crank this thing. Ooh, this thing is really wanting to drift. Let's slow it down a little bit. Because I don't want to drift. I don't want to flip this thing over either. This is the direction I want to be heading for now. So brakes are now off, and we will continue to roll on over. Okay. All is looking good here for now. We're going to need to turn brakes back on. We slow down pretty slowly because we don't have these brakes cranked. They're at 50%. So that is definitely noted. We can run our engines in reverse if we want to slow down faster as well. And that's something that we can do. For the moment, let's just make our way right on in here. Traveling at about 8 meters per second right now. I think we're fine. Let's turn the brakes back off. We're going to start going uphill here, so we're going to slow down pretty shortly. And then, of course, we're going to need to transfer these guys in. So we know that 3 of them can get into this smelter module, so I think we'll just park right up over here. So brakes are on, and we're slowing down, although we're not slowing down as much as I'd like. I'm running the motor in reverse right now. Now we're down to 3 meters per second. Cool. Now we're down to 2 meters per second. Brakes off. And let's just move this right on in. I just want to move these guys into this crew hatch for right now. Well, 3 of them anyway. Okay, brakes are on, and we're just going to park right about here. This is fine. We could move forward a little further, but we don't need to. So Rodgin, you're going to EVA, and you're going to let go. The frame rate here is not phenomenal, but it'll get a lot better once I restart the game. Okay. Let's make our way in here. Ooh, that didn't go well. Let's try that again. There we go. That's more like what I'm looking to do. So we'll have you board, and that'll be fine. Next up, we're going to need to get Neri in here. So Neri, go ahead and EVA. And let's have you board as well. And then the others, I'm not sure where I want them to go yet. That's the thing. We could just put them in the pad, probably. I think, yeah, there's 2 crew seats in the pad. So that's definitely viable. Okay. Hop on in. There we go. I don't know if we have enough life support here. That'll be an interesting question. Okay. So this is the 3rd Kerbal at this point that's going to hop in here. At the very least, we should have enough life support to keep them going for long enough to bring in a... Ooh, that was an awkward place to be. We should be able to have enough to bring in another life support module if we need to, or build one, potentially. I do want to check on... Oh, this is full? This module is full. I thought it had 3 seats. Hang on. Apparently it had 2. Good to know. Okay, so we're going to head off over this way then, and I'm just going to put them into the launch pad for right now. So that seems fine. We'll hop on over here, and into the launch pad we go, which I believe the entrance is on this side. No, the entrance is on the other side, isn't it? I wish there was a visual entrance here. But yeah, it's this right here. That's the worst jump I've ever seen. Okay, good job, Nedkey. Let's try that again. Why are you spinning? I guess he was like, it's a good trick. Sure. Okay, so now we need to get this vehicle moved over to the pad. Do we have enough space here to turn it? The answer is not really, but we can just kind of do this number, right? And just snake our way on out of here. Okay. The good news is, because we have the turning on the back wheels, we do have a pretty tight turning radius on this thing. Okay. Around we go, because we need to deliver some more Kerbals right up over here. Specifically, we need to deliver 1 Kerbal here. So we'll just turn on the brakes here. There we go. And Geary. Ah, these are both in here. We need to transfer them over. I've had issues with this not actually working before, where I'm trying to select this part and it's just not working. That's awkward. Yeah, that did not work. Well, I would really love to do this. Escape to cancel, transfer crew, transfer. Yeah, it's just not letting us select the actual part here. Maybe if we clip into it and select it from the inside. No. It highlights the part as eligible to be switched to, but it's not letting us actually switch it. That's obnoxious. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll keep trying this. I will hopefully have that solved by next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.